So, over the past few months or so, there has been some drama going on dealing with this guy named Pirate Software. Now I from all what I know, it was just some drama that had to do with World of Warcraft, so I didn't really care about it. But then I think it like started spreading out into like other things. Yo, what up? It's Nunia J. Nuni. Appreciate the follow. I think it spread out to other things, and so anyway, he ended up getting in trouble. Now he's having a quote unquote downfall, and I figured I'd go over it because here, let me just show you. Let me show you. Bro, I hate these bots, man. It's like as soon as you start streaming, these bots is pile in and it's trying to sell you some shit. Hey, I'm this. Hey, I'm that. Let me see. Let me help you get this. No, bot, fuck off. Shit. All right. Anyway, sorry for that outburst. Not sorry. But anyway, let me show you what I'm talking about. Internet Anarchist has come out with a video saying the satisfying end of pirate software. And I know our Anarchist usually does a great job compiling everything that's the the subject of the video has gone through. So I figure we can watch this and see what's going, see what all popped off with his World of Warcraft thing and into all this other drama. You know what I'm saying? I think I even kept seeing some type of supercut going around where he kept talking about how his dad works at Blizzard. It's like at the beginning of the supercut, he was like, "What? I don't really talk about my dad working at Blizzard or me working at Blizzard." And then the supercut continues, and it's like all he talks about is mentioning the time he spent working at Blizzard, or his dad works at Blizzard. Crazy. Anyway, let's check it out. Links to the video, links to the channel, both be in the description below. So be sure to check out Internet Anarchist. Also, before we get into this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your boy's trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Let's get it.
Pirate software is what happens when you give someone with a massive ego a microphone and an audience.
Oh boy.
Not only does he have some of the worst takes the online gaming community has ever seen.
Oh shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm gonna actively tell people not to.
He also seems
bro.
deathly allergic to taking
Is that really necessary? Also, like, just because you don't like it, you're gonna tell your viewers not to fuck with it. It's not hurting anyone. It's just you don't like it.
Accountability.
Just wants me to sit not to.
He also seems deathly allergic to taking accountability.
He's half woman. I mean, he's like 60. He's over half woman. He's like 70, 80, 90, 100%. Like maybe not 100%. 70, 80, 90% woman. If kryptonite, if accountability is your kryptonite, you share a thing in common with a certain gender.
Just wants me to sit down, grovel
Most of a certain gender. Calm down, some of you. I know some of you are cool.
on my knees and be like, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Yamato. It was all my fault, the mage."
Even Dr. K, a professional psychiatrist, failed to make him realize his own arrogance.
I think sometimes the things that I talk about in regards to those types of things is misconstrued as arrogance or boasting, when in reality, I'm just trying to give context.
So, do you think he's trying to put on a character, or is this really how he is? Probably really how he is, to be honest.
So that is the problem right there. So I want you to listen to this phrase. This gets misconstrued as arrogance, but in reality, it's this.
Yeah.
That is the most arrogant statement on the planet, bro. Like, tell me I'm wrong.
Okay.
Is it though?
I don't see it that way, but all right.
And the moment the internet saw his true colors, it was all downhill from there. Even then, the one thing he still had going for him
is it
was...
though?
Okay.
Reality, it's this.
Yeah.
That is the phrase. This gets misconstrued as arrogance, but in reality, it's this.
I guess that oh god, another person. I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, let's see. Let's repeat it. Oh wait.
Listen to this phrase. This gets misconstrued as arrogance, but in reality, it's this.
Yeah.
That is the most arrogant.
I guess so. You're taking what I'm thinking as arrogant, but reality it's this. All right, you're misconstruing the words that I'm saying out of my mouth. In reality, is this. Trust me, bro. And guess I can PC and some arrogance.
Statement on the planet, bro. Like, tell me I'm wrong.
Okay, I don't see it that way, but all right.
And the moment the internet saw his true colors, it was all downhill from there. Even then, the one
See, this is what I always say about like streamers or content creators. Like, if you're wearing a mask, bro, it's best not to wear a mask. Just be yourself, because eventually that mask is gonna slip and people are going to see who you really are. You know? And then, you know, the downfall begins. If you can make money while doing it, go by all means, boo-boo, do your thing. But just don't be surprised when that mask falls and your downfall begins.
thing he still had going for him was his technical prowess as an expert game developer and an elite hacker.
It was a lot. So after that, I ended up going to work for the United States Department of Energy because I'm a hacker, offensive security guy, and I hacked power plants for the federal government. And then I quit, and now I make video games on the internet. I've been doing this for a couple of years now.
Well, as it turns out, much of what he claimed might have either been a flat-out lie or, at best, an over-the-top exaggeration.
When Pirate Software told everyone that he worked on video games for 20 years, that he worked as a hacker, why did anyone believe him when this was what he was putting out? Why did it take this long for people to call him out for being a fraud when this is his magnum opus that took him 8 years? 8 years of perfecting your craft for something a middle schooler could make. This isn't the work of a professional. This isn't even the work of an...
Now, I don't make video games, so I don't know how long it takes to make video games. But I do play a lot of video games. Son of a... Yo, should I stop deleting these? Because people just keep coming back and... Look how many I've had to delete so far. Wait, let me show you. Where we're gonna go? Let's go back to this. Yeah. Look how many of these have had to delete so far. Like, should I just... They just keep coming in like... I haven't even been live that long. They just keep coming in like every 2 minutes. What the fuck? Should I just leave them up so other people can see that other people have already tried that, so they won't so that they won't try to sell me some shit? It's so annoying. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I play a lot of video games. I don't make video games, but I play a lot of video games. And sometimes I see when a company announces that game has been started, and by the time they end, and it doesn't really take 8 years unless it's like a triple or quadruple A game, like GTA 6. No, wait. Before the time they announced it, we gotta be fair. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't been that long, but I'm sure they've been working on it in the background since then. But I'm pretty sure like games don't normally take 8 years, especially for something like this. Like that should have taken like, I don't know, a couple months maybe. Again, I might be wrong. I'm not a fucking, I'm not a game designer. But something like simple like this looks like it should take just a couple of months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. But 8?
Amateur. It's pathetic.
Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we're revisiting the man who's currently going through one of the most spectacular downfalls in YouTube history, Pirate Software. How everything is built over the years is unraveling right in front of his eyes, and it's only getting worse with each passing day, since while being supremely arrogant is bad enough, Pirate Software might even get in legal trouble for defrauding his audience. Now,
he defrauded his audience? So you were already a dick. And people, started to notice that. Then before things got too bad, before you started to lose your followers, you defrauded them?
I've already made a video going over the major controversy that initiated his downfall, but if you haven't watched that video yet or need a refresher, here's a quick recap to get you up to speed. Pirate Software, aka Jason Thor Hall, is an ex-Blizzard employee.
His middle name is Thor. Hey, yo, I just finished watching that Netflix show, Ragnarok. Good show. But his middle name is Thor. Maybe that's where the arrogance came from. I thought he was fighting giants out here, bro.
who, after allegedly working for the US government as a hacker for a bit, decided to develop his own video game in 2017 called Heartbound. He also started streaming his game progress on Twitch and uploading clips from those streams on YouTube Shorts. These shorts blew up big time, allowing him to gain millions of new subscribers on YouTube, over 80,000 on Twitch, and uploading clips from those streams on YouTube Shorts. These shorts blew in progress game in 2017 called Heartbound. He also started streaming his game progress on Twitch and uploading clips from those streams on YouTube Shorts. These shorts blew up big time, allowing him to gain millions.
So yeah, showing the process of game designing, and I'm guessing, and like the game that he's working on or something, showing the progress of it, putting that out there. That's kind of dope, right?
Of new subscribers on YouTube, over 80,000 paid subs on Twitch, and even break the Twitch hype train record 4 different times. But then 2025 rolled around, and Thor managed to destroy different time.
Thor broke the Twitch hype train record 4 times. The first time on 13/12/23, December 13th, 2023, at 179% past level 55. On December 15th, 2023, at 512% level 55. He broke the record, then broke his own record a couple times. The third time on December 29th, damn, all in December, shit. 2023 at 1,906% past level 55. Damn, level 55 hype train. Oof, sheesh. And the fourth time on April 1st. Okay, it took a couple of months. What was he doing, I wonder, in between? Was he working on the game, or I don't know. 47% past level 105. Past level 105. God damn. He got, how many levels in the hype train are there?
But then 2025 rolled around, and Thor managed to destroy the goodwill the internet once had for him. First, by causing his friends to lose months of progress in a hardcore World of Warcraft game and refusing to take accountability.
He wants me to sit down, grovel on my knees, and be like, I'm so
the bitch and him was showing.
Sorry, Mr. Yamato. It was all my fault, the mage.
And then by taking a stance against the Stop Killing Games initiative, which would stop game publishers from killing games.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Yamato. It was all my fault, the mage.
And then by taking a stance against the Stop Killing Games initiative, which would stop game publishers from killing games people had already paid for.
Oh shit, now this is that.
He took a stance against an initiative that kept the games in the gamers' hands instead of letting and not allowing the companies kill the games that the company's customers have already paid for. He took a stance against that. The Stop Killing Games initiative sounds like something good. Why would you take a stance against that?
Actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to.
That's what he was talking about when he said that? Bro, why? I think you're just trying to sound cringy now. Not sound cringy, but I think you're just trying to sound, boastful or sound. I think you're just trying too hard right there. Like, he's trying to keep the interest of all the people he gained throughout the hype train and trying to say something that will, be controversial enough to keep his, keep another hype going, keep his hype going. But it went too far.
Understood the whole movement on a fundamental level, and then used some of the harshest language he's ever used to speak up against it.
That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. No, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I dropped the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing.
His viewers were shocked at him blatantly rejecting something they thought was good. Thor, on the other hand, continued posting more videos doubling down on his take. But then, some of the biggest creators on the platform, like Charlie, Jacksepticeye, and PewDiePie, voiced their support for the initiative. This only made Thor look worse by comparison.
Oof. 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 And people are gonna start looking at you like, hey, this guy wants us to stop the Stop Killing Games initiative. That's not cool. And well, I mean, more people will point it out. More people will be like, "What? Who? Wait, why is the guy get what? Who?" And then just downhill from there again, continuously downhill,
making the whole internet, including his audience, turn against him. Now, Thor had a chance to retain some of the trust his viewers had in him, despite the overwhelming amount of backlash he was receiving. All he had to do was admit that he was wrong, but not only did he not do that, he stuck to his guns, regardless of how wrong he was. He was caught lying about his games getting review bombed because of the controversy, making him look even more pathetic than he already did. Now, at the end of my last video, I posed 2 possible futures for Thor. He could either admit that he was wrong and turn things around, or stay stubborn and turn into the perpetual lolcow of the internet. And from the looks of it, he's chosen the second option, which has not only earned him more hate, but has prompted people to take a deeper look into his life, starting with his reputation as a master coder. And what they found was shocking to say the least. It started when a YouTuber named Coding Jesus, whose main content is him dissecting people's code and pointing out issues, decided to review the code for Heartbound in a video titled, "I reviewed Pirate Software's code, oh boy." And as you might be able to judge,
bruh, you talking about yourself being a coding master, and then someone comes along, oh really? This guy's a coding master, right? Ooh, looks nice in here. Yeah, what you got? What you got? Heartbound? You got Heartbound? All right, let me review the. I review codes like kind of like a food critic. I'm a code critic. I'm about to review this shit, bro. What you got? What you got? You said it's Heartbound, right? You a code master? You a coding master? All right, bet. Let's dive down into this shit.
From the title, he didn't really have any good things to say about it, with him even going as far as to declare Thor's code to be worse than most entry-level interns.
Damn.
Imagine removing all these comments. Would you, as a newly added game developer to his game project, have any idea that one is Shelly? You would have no idea. This would never ever be allowed in a production repository, and like I've been hinting, it's below what you'd expect of a bottom tier intern.
And look at his hype train right now. He's doing this live. His hype train is at level 11. But nobody in his audience is getting through, at least getting through, while saying, "Hey, the code sucks." They might be getting banned, or you know, maybe you can't talk shit about his code. Maybe it's restricted to talk shit about his code. But that's, ooh, like, come on, somebody in his audience, level 11 hype train, almost to level 12, and he's gotten to level 105 before. Somebody has had to see his, you know, code, like said something about it. Somebody had to try and say something about it.
I've been hinting, it's below what you'd expect of a bottom tier intern.
Thor, however, didn't appreciate the constructive criticism and handled this review in the only way he knows how to.
It's just another, like, YouTube grifter trying to fight for relevance, dude. That's all that shit is.
Now that right there is coping, bro. That is coping. But hey, man, sometimes people just don't want to, some people, pride. It's pride. It's like, it's one of the 7 deadly sins. And I love seeing people fall into their pride, their sins, their lustfulness, their whatever it is. I love seeing that shit. But anyway, because it means they have a chance for growth if they notice it. And then you get to watch to see if they notice it. But anyway, he's not noticing it right now. His pride is destroying him, and that's why it's another great example of, you know, being a 7 deadly sin. Yeah, all he had to do was acknowledge that yes, it's not great. I am sloppy with it, but I make shit work. Something, instead of just completely like, fuck this guy. Blah, 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 blah.
Too common these days.
However, there was something Thor said that was uncharacteristically reasonable for him and actually made some sense.
Uh-oh.
It's just a bunch of disingenuous arguments put up in bad faith trying to make me look like a bad programmer. And in reality, this guy has never used the engine that I'm working in, never used the language that I'm working with, and all of his points are moot as a result.
From an objective point of view, his reasoning here for why Coding Jesus wasn't able to understand his coding style, because he's not a game developer, seemed sound. That was until another YouTuber, Quinn Theo, decided to get Coding Jesus on a call and dissect Thor's arguments together.
So they said, so this is what he thinks, right? This is what Thor thinks. All right, let's get this Coding Jesus guy on a call. We're going on this. We're gonna step right in and we're gonna dissect this code. And even though Coding Jesus is not a game developer, no. We're gonna show why he's still right. Damn, they double teamed him. They bent him over, double team. They probably Eiffel Towered him. Damn, Thor. How did you? No wonder you sore, bro.
Began by analyzing Thor's comments about Coding Jesus' very first critique, with Coding Jesus explaining how Thor doesn't use a very basic practice in his code that even school-level coders know how to use.
Manually setting all to 0 with 8 lines, those were set to 0 because it was ending the alarms. By setting them to 0, you're actually setting the alarm to off.
So what he's doing here is a classic example of deflection. He pretends the chatter asked, why do you set the alarms to 0, instead of the question, which was, why don't you iterate over them in a for loop? A for loop is a very basic coding construct. If you're iterating through a consecutive set of numbers, you definitely want to use that. It's the perfect scenario for a for loop.
So chatters are being like, hey, are calling it out, and those chats are getting through to Pyre software, but he's trying to defend them in his own way. But other coders, like the general audience, when he's in chat talking to chat and everything, and while he's live streaming, and someone who actually knows code speaks out about it, his general audience probably doesn't know about coding, so they're not gonna know who's right on that debate of their argument. You know what I'm saying? So they're probably just gonna ignore the rest of that. But when two other coders make an entire video dissecting your code and your response to your chat, or the part of your chat that knows about code, they're like, no, your chatter was right in this scenario, blah 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 blah. And so that helps put into perspective for any of the Pyre Software's viewers that were there that time, that were there during that question, or that know of it. If they ever saw the dissection of that video, then they would be like, oh shit, Pyre Software got his ass kicked in this. But anyway.
Also pointing out how he deflects from the real question whenever he doesn't know the answer.
But he pretends that he didn't understand the question, and then tries to answer something else.
And in case you're not familiar with programming, a commenter summed up Thor's flawed approach perfectly, stating, he is literally doing the equivalent of writing 2 + 2 + 2 + 2 + 2 + 2 instead of writing 2 times 25. But that was just the tip of the iceberg, because while someone might argue that he simply misunderstood the criticism instead of purposefully deflecting it, that doesn't explain why he kept doing the same thing over and over again.
SpriteSpark is not a magic number. It's a direct reference to an asset file called SpriteSpark. This is how GameMaker allows you to link sprites and other assets. When you want to use a sprite, sound, or other object, you call it by name.
This is disingenuous.
See, if he just never said that he was a master coder, then he put his ego all up in it. Like he was slinging dick around. Just slapped it on the table and mushed it all into the ingredients. You know what I'm saying? Just slung it all around the table. You know what I'm saying? And then when people go in and say, hey, this coding is kind of messy, it's kind of trash. Now he's already put himself in a position to, because of his ego, he's already put himself in a position to be like, he has to defend himself. He's like, oh, well, you just don't understand. You just. Instead, he could have just been, if he had not put his ego well in it already, he could have been like, oh, yeah, you're right, man. If he had just been like, yeah, I'm just a coder, blah, 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 instead of a master coder that I could do this, instead of being like, I'm the top dog, instead of being like, I'm the HNIC, instead of saying all that, if he had just been like, I'm just a coder, blah, blah, blah. When someone, stripped his, or went through his code and showed all the flaws, he'd have been like, yeah, I'm just, I know it's messy, but I try to do what I do in order to make things work. That's all he needed to do. But What was it? Pride come before the fall. That's the phrase I'm looking for. Pride, pride, bro. One of the 7 deadly sins. Once if this shit takes you down, how you come back up is what matters. It's always gonna be what matters. But if this shit takes you down, the change that it creates within somebody who suffered from the fall of pride is great. Which is why I love seeing people, all in their pride and enjoying their pride.
Ingenuous at best and an obfuscation tactic at worst, because as you can see here, there's a lot of numbers here. It's very obvious when I'm talking about a magic number, I'm talking about things like 1, 0, 15, 270, 360. I'm not talking about what my mouse just happens to be highlighting, which is SPR Spark.
Almost as if it's a core part of the tactic he uses to sound more knowledgeable than he actually is.
He has this repeating theme where somebody gives him a question, and then he pivots to something that somebody didn't even ask or address to try to get out of that question.
Something that becomes abruptly clear when he does address criticism directly and ends up being objectively wrong about everything he's saying.
Data types are not defined in GameMaker. You cannot define a Boolean. You can use 0, 1 or true, false at will. It doesn't do anything. None of this matters in this language.
The Boolean and the data types.
Okay.
So I'd like to interpret this in two ways, because what he could have been saying here when he says data types are not defined is that you can't create your own custom data types, which is indeed wrong. You can create structures in GameMaker. It's in the documentation, search up structs and constructors. But maybe he wasn't referring to structs, maybe he was referring to booleans, which also just isn't true.
What's worse is that he could have easily avoided looking like a fool. All he had to do was actually read about the programming language he claims to be an expert at.
He makes the claim that you can't...
He doesn't even want to do the work to look up the necessary information to make sure he is right about it, to educate himself on being a better coder, so he could boast all he wants while actually setting up to become a better coder and, do better coding and, which would draw in a bigger audience. People would respect him more. He could have actually kept going with it. You know what I'm saying? Or like, hey, he could have started off being like, hey, I'm kind of a noob coder, but we're gonna grow together. So you're gonna go on this journey with me as I grow and become a master coder. Something like that. But nah, bro. Pride come before the fall. Ooh, ego. Pride. You fuck so good.
Can't define a Boolean in GameMaker because GameMaker itself doesn't have a native Boolean type in its scripting language. In other words, it interprets reals as Booleans. Now, to reconcile the fact that he used a Boolean in his code with what he said, I decided to do what any developer would do, and that is I consulted the documentation. So if you go to data types in GameMaker, oh, look at that. You are also provided with constants, true and false, which can always be used in your code to prevent any issues, should the native Boolean type be defined later.
This can either be interpreted as Thor being incredibly lazy, or just simply not knowing Booleans exist in the language he's using. Either way, it calls into question every claim Thor has ever made about his coding skills to this point. As a comment on YouTube eloquently puts it, "Someone please take the shovel away from Pirate Software. This man won't stop digging a hole for himself." But what's most concerning is Thor's inability to take any kind of criticism, even when it's valid. He's set up a wall of denial in front of him and just disregards anyone that doesn't agree with him. That said,
see, like, he wore the mask of something that he wasn't, and something that he wasn't even planning to try to rise up to be. And then he just shat on it all. Once he reached a certain, popularity, it's like his tower crumbled, just started to crumble. It's like he was playing Jenga with his own legacy. You feel me? And fucked it up. Just fucked it up. I mean, and he could have. There's so many chances he had to like turn it all around. He could have just admitted it, like, okay, yeah, you're right, blah 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 blah. Try to do better. This is it's a good lesson to learn. To not what not to do. You feel me?
said this next issue isn't something he can simply ignore, since he might even end up in court because of it. The bombshell dropped on July 5th, 2025, when a Twitter user by the name of Guy made a wild accusation against Thor, stating, Pirate Software accidentally revealed his DMs with Kronos during the April 1st Twitch Giga Train, showing that they were boosting it to themselves. This is why the stream is unavailable to watch. The Giga Train he's talking about here is actually the record-breaking Twitch hype train Thor was able to reach on April 1st, 2024. A hype train, for those who don't know, is a Twitch feature that gets activated when a streamer starts receiving a lot of donations or gifted subs in a very short span of time. It then continues leveling up if the donations keep coming in, and the more a hype train progresses, the more rewards the donors unlock, including special emojis and gifts that they can use, incentivizing them to keep spending their money. As we mentioned earlier, Thor had already broken.
How far? Okay, what did they get for getting to level 105? Like, what did they actually get for that? And is it something that streamer has to set up? Because how can somebody predict getting to levels 105 when the record before, like 6 months before or whatever, was 55 or whatever? Like, damn.
Multiple hype train records before. However, all of them paled in comparison to the hype train on April 1st, 2024, as it managed to reach past level 105. This was a big milestone in Thor's career. It made headlines and turned Thor into an even bigger name in the online gaming community. However, if what Guy was alleging on Twitter was true, it meant that this record wasn't as legitimate as it seemed. And the proof he presented was in the screenshot of the conversation Thor had with his head mod Kronos while his hype train was active. Right, let me know if you do. Bits is going to be the best way to do it due to the return if you need to save it. Bits rather than tier 3 subs. Tier 3 subs might be better, don't know. Bits is 82% return when you buy them in bulk. Have you bought any yet? I've done 100 tier 1 subs on my personal, ready to do 40 tier 3 subs on an alt. Can do bits instead or both. Did 50,000 bits at 20 seconds left. Okay, what is the alt account? Serendipitous being. Put simply, this seemed like Thor telling his own mod to donate from an alt account to artificially keep the hype train going, and even telling him to use bits since Twitch would only take an 18% cut from them. Now, it was still possible that some important missing context could give this conversation a completely different meaning. Unfortunately for Thor, someone uncovered the deleted Twitch VOD this screenshot was taken from, and Thor's reaction to it told his viewers everything they needed to know.
I wished I could place.
And Thor's
Pirate Software accidentally revealed his DMs with Kronos 7 during the April 1st Twitch Giga Train. So, you know, April Fool's Day. He was trying to fool y'all. He was trying, for a while he was, showing that they were boosting it themselves. This is why the stream's unavailable to watch. Damn. Busted. Got him. Screwed over. Hey, man. That's karma, bro. You karma in real time, right?
Reaction to it told his viewers everything they needed to know.
I wished I could place my head between them and go full burr mode and make...
What? What? What is this? Where is it? I'm gonna find this. I need to find your message. God damn it, click. Click, you garbage machine. What? Who are you?
This is him finding out.
Why are you like this? Number 420. Deleted.
Not only does it prove that the screenshot is real, viewers could also see how panicked Thor became when he saw it, and how he immediately switched to a different chat before actually finding and deleting the text-to-speech donation that came in. Thor tried to deny any wrongdoing on Twitter, stating, Kronos used his own money to do this and asked if it was okay to do so. He wasn't paid for this or told to do it either. He's a grown man and can spend his money in whatever way he chooses. You can hate me all
you're probably planning to reimburse him too.
Like, but going after my staff is shit tier behavior. Even Kronos, his head moderator, came out with statements of his own denying the allegations, reading, said this before in January during the World of Warcraft drama. People contacted me and others about donating during the hype train record in 2024. This year, I did less from the main and I did some from an alt. Removal of the VOD was, if I recall correctly, to prevent people from harassing donators as before. And while these explanations from both Thor and Kronos were still a bit suspicious, they were enough to end the controversy before it got any worse. Or at least, that's likely what they thought would happen. But on July 20th, 2025, someone replied to Guy's original Twitter post with yet another screenshot. This one showing the exact messages attached to the donation Kronos made with his alt account, Serendipitous Bean. It reads, "In real life friend of Kronos and excited that they are now free from corporate. Love your stream and what you do for people here. There aren't many cool or supportive streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool, bud, and tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards." In other words, Kronos pretended to be his own friend, likely to avoid any suspicions from chat. However, what made this truly weird was the fake reaction Thor had when this donation came in.
Serendipitous Bean with 50,000 bits said IRL friend of Kronos and excited that they are now free from corporate.
I know.
Love your stream and what you do for people here. There aren't many cool or supportive streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool, bud, and tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards.
I'm sorry you had to know Kronos in real life just like me.
Now, it's possible Kronos just wanted to hide his own identity to not receive hate for donating so much. However, that just explains the pretending to be his own friend part. It does not explain the shameless glazing that followed. Even if we ignore the actual message and just focus on the donation, it's still highly problematic. Not only did it manipulate the viewers into donating more by keeping the hype train alive, as Legal Mindset put it in his video, it could even bring some serious consequences for Thor, starting from Twitch itself.
So Kronos is the main moderator, and excited that they are free from corporate. Love your stream and what you do for the people here. There aren't many cooler supportive streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool, bud, and tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards. So this person is clearly painting themselves as not Kronos, not the moderator, but a separate IRL friend of this moderator, which is extremely deceptive if you ask me.
Serendipitous Bean with 50,000 bits said IRL friend of Kronos and excited that they are now free from corporate. Love your stream and what you do for people here. There aren't many cool or supportive streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool, bud, and tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards.
I'm sorry you had to know Kronos in real life just like me.
500 bits said when is Yarn pregnant and going to be real.
Dude, this guy can't be real. This guy actually can't be real.
Thor has openly claimed plenty of times that he hires and actually pays all his mods.
I pay our moderators full-time. Not only do they have full-time pay, they're on salary, they also get full-time benefits too. Medical, dental, vision, everything. Like, that's how this place stays cool.
So it wouldn't be difficult for Thor to reimburse Kronos as part of his monthly paycheck. Only now, it could get him suspended or even kicked off Twitch entirely. But that isn't even the worst of it. According to Legal Mindset, this has also opened Thor and his mod up to facing legal repercussions from the federal government as well.
Damn. Representation, omission, or practice that is likely to mislead a customer. So the practice would be, hey, donating bits from the sock puppet account. The consumer's interpretation is reasonable under the circumstances. So the consumer is thinking this is a private party. This is somebody else. This is not the mod. This is not pirate software. They're thinking, oh, look, this person is extending the hype train. And so because of that, because that misleading representation, that materially led others to donate more to keep it going. It's a very well-known thing in scams and cons. This is something that confidence men do. They get fake buyers to go out there and gin up interest so that people will buy stuff even though it's overpriced.
And if that wasn't an...
Holy shit. That's devious, yo. That's devious. I mean, I wonder if they really thought that through. Like, okay, we have to try to keep... How many times have they done this? How many times have they done this in order to extend the hype train? I mean, he broke the hype train 4 different times, right? 3 times in 1 month. How many times did he do this just to extend the hype train? Just to trick his viewers into continuing to donate instead of letting it die down. If it was meant to die down. Artificially inflating your own hype train, bro. He got away with it for, he possibly got away with it for quite some time. Some people will do anything to continue their growth, to continue their growth, or continue to stay in the spotlight, or continue to make it seem like they are still relevant some way, somehow, shape, way, form, or to get there in the beginning. Like, some people will do anything for it, man. That's crazy.
Enough, Thor and Twitch could also get trouble on a state level as well, based on Thor falsely advertising the success of his hype train.
So Consumer Legal Remedies Act, California has that. And I mentioned California, by the way, because that's where Twitch is. So it'd be very reasonable if a California donor, if a California whale brought a claim against a California corporation in a California court against, Twitch and against, Mr. Pirate Software. But beyond that, there's California Business Code 17500, which leads to false or misleading statements or false or
the possibility of there being a whale in California. Yes, it's probably there.
Advertisement. And this could be perceived as falsely advertising that you're number one on the hype train, that you're this hype train leader, that you're this person that needs to be donated to keep this thing going to breach all these levels, when really most of those levels, or maybe a lot of those levels, some of those levels, were just artificially inflated by either Pirate Software's mod or these sock puppet accounts. I mean, who knows? We don't really have a full track on that yet.
But even if he manages to escape any direct repercussions, these controversies have only accelerated his downfall, with the number of people unsubscribing from his YouTube channel each month jumping from 100,000 plus when the Stop Killing Games controversy happened to over 200,000 after these new controversies came to light.
From one controversy to another, you lost 100K. Woo! Hey man, but at least you had that much to lose, right? I guess it's a lesson to at some point you have too much to lose. Like, at what point do you think you have too much to lose? And at what point is that next move you're planning to make, since you want to play dirty? How far can you keep going playing dirty until you get caught? You know what I'm saying? Until somebody notices you've been switching out your cards in order to win your hands. Yeah, play with the cards you're dealt, bro. You can't be cheating like that. People gonna catch on eventually. It's only a matter of time, especially if you keep pushing it. You could have gotten out while you had the chance, but you really wanted to go for one last big score, huh? 105? Level 105 hype train? That's a lot of money to make. Sheesh.
Light. It truly seems like Thor's reputation has reached a point where even if he apologizes now or tries to take accountability, it's pretty unlikely that he'll ever regain the audience he once had. But just when we thought he couldn't sink further, he somehow found a way. As I was making this video, Quintheo dropped another bombshell by interviewing Mr. Jason Thor Hall's ex-roommate, as well as the person who was in charge of his quality assurance work at Blizzard.
Hi, my name's Cynthia Hall. I go by Ludiana online. I am a lifelong artisan cosplayer. I worked for 5 years at Blizzard and then 8 years at Twitch. And I happen to work with Pirate Software at Blizzard as his wrangler on Diablo 3.
And what she had to say about Thor was shocking, but not all surprising at this point. According to Cynthia, Jason was straight up bad at his job. He would constantly slack off and browse Reddit all day, and even when he did work, Cynthia often had to come in and correct his mistakes.
So we're talking...
Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. You were terrible at your job. Hold on. What did she say she was again? Hey, yo, appreciate the follow, Crazy Potatoes. Hold on a second.
I worked for 5 years at Blizzard and then 8 years at Twitch. And I happen to work with Pirate Software at Blizzard as his wrangler on Diablo 3.
Okay, his wrangler.
And
what's good, Crazy? Hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, all the above. Well, yeah, what up, Andreas? Hope you're having a good one. We're watching some Internet Anarchist on Pirate Software and his downfall. This man talking about being a master coder, and yet even when he worked at Blizzard, his wrangler had to come in, fix all his mistakes, and this dude barely worked anyway. That's sadness, bro. And he defended himself so hard when he got criticized for how his code looks. I'm doing pretty good, Andreas. Thanks for asking. Just enjoying this video. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the States, Potatoes. What about you?
To say about Thor was shocking, but not all surprising at this point. According to Cynthia, Jason was straight up bad at his job. He would...
Bruh. By the way, just let both of you know, I'm not buying anything, okay? All right, bet.
constantly slack off and browse Reddit all day, and even when he did work, Cynthia often had to come in and correct his mistakes.
So we're talking dealing with all the spawns in the game, all the boss testing, having to do all the smoke tests whenever there were new builds. That's end to end, make a character run through to skeleton king kill. Like, that's just testing the builds. Whatever the task was for the day, it could just be spawning different monsters and testing their affixes to see how they perform. That easy.
He's just trash at his job. Russia, that's what's up. I don't know what it's like over there, but I hope you enjoy your life over there.
But he would just kind of create a character and idle in the client and redirect it. That's literally what he did. He sat in front of me and I was assigning the tasks. So not only did I see the work he was not doing, I saw what he was doing instead.
Worst of all, when Cynthia complained about his behavior to the higher-ups, nothing happened. Simply because Thor's father was also quite high up in the company. The same father, mind you, whose birthday is not even an afterthought for Thor these days.
Wait. So his dad kept him in his job, saved him, pretty much, probably countless times. And this guy acts like he doesn't even know who he is. This guy was such a little, he got away with bullshit. He got away with so much shit. He's like son of a head figure, or son of an important guy at the top. That's somewhere at the top. And those poor other employees have the privilege of dealing with him and his attitude and his narcissism and his self-importance. Like, yo, what up, Pocket Watch? How you doing? Hope you having a good one, bro. Like, I feel sorry for the rest of his people. Damn, bro. For the rest of for the other employees, bro. At what point, as a dad, do you put your foot down and say, "Son, if you do this again, I'm not covering for you anymore. You're done. Like, I'm gonna fire you myself." At what point, as a dad, do you do that? Pocket Watch, follow your dreams. Yeah, of course. You're going around trying to guess people's ages so you get it right. You haven't gotten one right today. All right, man. Good luck. You can try. Your dream is really, really bad. Oh, is it a nightmare? If it's a nightmare, don't follow it. If it's a dream, then follow it. There's a difference, remember?
Birthday and you missed it. You didn't call me. Neither did your brother. You guys both ignored me for my birthday.
That isn't true. I sent you a text.
True. No, you did not.
Bullshit.
That was last year.
Damn.
Bullshit.
I got nothing. You sent me one last year.
This guy
Did I send you one last year?
This guy
My
is
shitty
dick.
son. Oh man.
Yeah.
Like an everyday thing. Your
It
passion
was
is
last.
bad.
Wow.
What's your passion?
But that's only the tip of the iceberg. His memorable moments at the company also included him yelling at his co-workers for not playing like elite gamers for a charity event.
I was on his team for a league tournament and he screamed at our team for
Looking at his co-workers for not playing like elite gamers for a charity event.
I was on his team for a league tournament and
I thought she said league tournament. I was like, oh shit, you had to play League of Legends too? Damn, that sucks.
he screamed at our team for apparently not hearing.
If your dream is to become if your dream is to become a killer, I would say don't follow that dream, bro. But if you feel strongly about it, it ain't my life to live. But I highly suggest you don't go down that road, because that's a road that only ends in death or jail. But do what you do. When people indulge in their sins, they find out. It's like fucking around and finding out.
Correctly to counter the other team, because we were just that bad. And it's not like we were losing so severely, because we all played League regularly. It was not that big of a deal, and we're all sleep deprived. It was very early in the morning after an overnight of playing games, and we're like, seriously, dude, you are raging at everybody, like our entire team. It was just yelling.
Holy crap!
At everybody.
It's a charity event, correct?
It was a children's charity event.
But all of that.
Imagine being forced to work with somebody like that, and every time you tell somebody, every time you say something to the higher ups, you get a cold shoulder, and then the rest of her team is looking at her like, can you please do something about pirate software or about Thor? And she's like, I'm trying to, but they're not doing anything about it. He's the son of this important guy, and so they're not going to do anything about him. And so imagine how everybody else feels, because it's like, damn, we got to deal with this entitled asshole, and we can't get rid of him? We're stuck with him? Let me see if I can transfer out of this division. I wonder how many people she watched transfer in and out of her team. Damn, bro.
It pales in comparison to what he was like as a roommate.
That I came home and went into the kitchen. All the dishes everywhere, like the pans, still food in them on the stove, shit.
They live
everywhere.
together?
Food, countertops, everything, everywhere. Like, it was not
Roommates?
disgusting, Sty, but
Like
it
the
was
entire
very
team?
just a fucking mess.
Worst of all, when he eventually did leave Cynthia's apartment, what she found in his room was nothing short of disgusting.
When he finally did move out, I wish I had saved pictures of the state of his room. He had cleaned nothing, so I had to clean everything by hand. There was, like, I don't know what on the walls in his bedroom, and you're just gonna have to, like, take my word for this. I don't know if it was snot or something else, just, like, wiped here and there on the walls, and more of the, like, random gray stuff, just spots and things.
Now, these stories are from years ago. Unfortunately, from what we've seen of his game's progress, he still hasn't outgrown his slacking habits. It just makes you wonder how much more negative stuff about Thor will come out before the internet just moves on. Just like Only Jayus, who's also continuing to fall into the realm of
Damn, bro. Like, imagine, like, bro, you were set. All you had to do was, like, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? All you had to do was keep doing your code thing, keep doing your World of Warcraft thing. Don't let your ego get in control, and you would have been fine. You know what I'm saying? You would have slowly risen up. You would have just, you know what I'm saying? You were good. But he lusted after the power, I guess the feeling he gets from feeling important. Like, I don't know what it is, but I guess he lusted after it, and he just had to chase the dragon or whatever, and needed more and more and more until it was too much, and his little castle toppled over. Can he make a comeback? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But it's whatever. But as always, links to this video that we just watched will be in the description below. So be sure to check out Internet Anarchist. And yeah. Watch the video for yourselves if you want. It's a good one. Peace.